Hey y'all, it's X, and today I'm back with a different kind of video. So today I just want to try something like kind of unique, something that I don't really think a lot of other people have done, but that was kind of interesting to me. Today we're going to be doing a rebuild. Well, not really a rebuild. This is really just a simulation, just a one season simulation, a quick video of a team of my favorite players and seeing if they could win a Super Bowl. Now, my favorite players does not necessarily mean the best players in the NFL. Some of them are. But a lot of my favorite players are like kind of underrated guys, or guys that I just think are super unique or versatile, or I liked them a lot in college, scouted them, and I thought they were going to be amazing, and maybe I was wrong about them, and I still have hope. Who knows? But yeah, remember to leave a like and sub if y'all messing with the content, and let's hop right into it. So let's go over the team really quickly. Starting off with the quarterback position. So my actual favorite quarterback in the NFL is Lamar Jackson, but when we get to see the rest of this team, I thought that having Lamar be a little bit too overpowered, and Anthony Richardson is a very close second for me. I love his play style. I love that he's just this freakish athlete who's also just very, very good at playing the quarterback position. When I scouted him at Florida, I'm just like, listen, if he had, I shouldn't say some decent weapons, because he did have Ricky Pearsall, he did have some other guys too. I think he played on the same team as Kyle Pitts, but I don't think he's a starter when Pitts was there. But either way, Anthony Richardson is just a very talented player. Rookie season cut short, so we didn't really get to see a lot of him. I had him in fantasy, so I got to see the full 4 games of him. And that's another video that I'm going to do, is when I draft my fantasy team for this year, I'm going to do a rebuild with my fantasy team. That's going to be super fun. But yeah, Anthony Richardson's really cool. His stats aren't amazing at the moment, but I mean, when he develops, he's going to be amazing, I think. At running back, we're going to have Anthony Richardson's backfield partner in Jonathan Taylor. Yes, Saquon would technically be my favorite running back if he did not just go to the Eagles. So he is cut off. He is dead to me. I hate him. So in moves Jonathan Taylor. The reason he is my favorite is because years ago when he was coming out of the draft, everybody was so hung up on DeAndre Swift and how good of a receiver he was. They were hung up on Clyde Edwards-Helaire and how good of a receiver he was. And nobody talked about Jonathan Taylor. I shouldn't say nobody. He was like the 3rd or 4th best running back according to everybody else. I said Jonathan Taylor was the best. Of course, I was not making videos at this time, and nobody would have heard my opinions or listened to me anyways. But I am happy that I was right about Jonathan Taylor being the best. Just watching him at Wisconsin, I'm like, I think a lot of people thought he wasn't as athletic as he was. But when he tested, I just knew he was going to be insane, because I think he ran like a 4.4 or 4.3, which is way better than what anybody expected. Everybody thought he was going to run to like 4.5, 4.6 and be like a true power back. No, he is fast. Like, he's legitimately athletic, and I've loved watching him on the Colts these past couple of years. His second year in the league, when he was like the first year starting, he was amazing, one of the best running backs in the NFL, and I just got to smile and look back and be happy that I was right. At the wide receiver position, there's one guy that I'm skipping over because it's kind of a surprise, but Amon-Ra St. Brown is one of my favorite receivers in the league. He's one of the best slot options in the NFL. He's developed really nicely. He was a super late round pick at a USC. I think it was like a 4th rounder. But again, somebody who in college, I was just like, I'm a fan of this guy. You know, I didn't think that he would be this good. I thought that he was going to be a good 3rd receiver on a team, a good slot receiver. I did not think that he would be the best slot receiver in the NFL, depending on how you feel about Cooper Kupp these days. But I think Amon-Ra St. Brown is probably better at this point. He's younger, been incredible throughout his entire career, some of the best hands in the league, some of the best route running in the league. He's just amazing, and I've really, really loved seeing him develop in the Lions. Next up is Malik Nabers. Now, obviously he's not in the game yet because this is Madden 24, but Malik Nabers is already one of my favorite receivers in the league. Obviously, I'm a Giants fan, that's why we're using the Giants, but Malik Nabers is one of the best receivers I've ever watched. I really wanted Marvin Harrison Jr., but I said I was not going to complain at all if we landed Malik Nabers. Honestly, to me, at this point, they're pretty much on the same level. They're both amazing wide receiver 1 capable players. Malik Nabers is just more athletic. I think Marvin Harrison Jr. is a better build for an X receiver. But Malik Nabers, I've only heard good things about him. He just has this confidence to him. It's just really, really cool. I just love him, and I can't wait to see him this year on the Giants. So I had to include him in this video because he's probably going to end up being my favorite player this year. And a little bit of maybe a surprise to some people here, Puka Nacua. Now, the reason for this is because strictly fantasy, right? Now, I love Puka Nacua's story, the super late round draft pick that some people, if you really into scouting the draft like I was last year, a lot of people had him on their radar, like, hey, maybe this guy could break out in training camp and be something special, and he did. He took that opportunity, Cooper Kupp went down, and he was immediately one of the best slot receivers in the league. The reason I love him this much is because he literally almost won me a Super Bowl. It kind of sucked because towards the end of the year when Cooper Kupp came back healthy, his production in fantasy definitely declined a little bit, but like, yo, those first couple of weeks, so I didn't even draft him, right? I picked him up week 1 off of waiver wire, and he was incredible for like the next like 6-7 games until Cooper Kupp came back, and he was still pretty solid as a wide receiver 3 from then, but really, really cool. Again, I love his story. I think he's going to be a really good player once Cooper Kupp is finally out of that offense, and they basically just turn Puka Nacua into the new Cooper Kupp. I think he's just going to do that. So I'm really excited to see him develop. But let's get into the big surprise and who my favorite receiver is, which when you see it, it won't be a big surprise. And of course, I had to bring back my favorite Giant of all time to the team, Odell Beckham Jr. I made him 23 years old. I basically put him right back in his prime. If I had the time, I was just gonna go back and look at like his stats from Madden like 16 or whenever he was the cover, and just grab those. But listen, OBJ, what could have been, right? If injuries didn't like destroy his career, I think right now he would still be top 5 in the league, because if DeAndre Hopkins is still a solid receiver, if Devontae Adams is still a top 15, top 10 receiver, I mean, Odell would be right up there. Watching him on the Giants was just like, I love you for being here, and I love that you're here, but I know you'd be so much better somewhere else on a team that's not going to ruin your career. And sadly, that didn't really happen until it was kind of all over when he got traded to the Browns. But by then, he was kind of already injured a lot and was getting injured more on that team. So, and the Browns are also a dumpster fire. So he just went from one bad situation to another. But Odell is just, he was so talented, and if you, like, watching his highlight reel is probably the most entertaining part of my childhood. I used to watch highlights of Odell every single day. I played him on the Giants every single time I play Madden. I would feed him the ball. He was my favorite player for like 5 years. My heart broke the day they traded him. But obviously, I had to bring back some special memories for myself. Gave him Superstar X Factor. He's a 96 overall like he was in his prime. Let's see if he can do something in the sim. And at tight end, I hate this number. I'm probably not going to change it just for the memes. But Mark Andrews, my favorite tight end in the league. Again, kind of funny how he wasn't even the first tight end drafted in his class to the Ravens. They took Hayden Hurst first, and then they took Mark Andrews later. Mark Andrews is just a really, like, I don't want to say underrated tight end, but I feel like, I shouldn't say he's underrated, but I feel like people just don't think of him. He's kind of a boring tight end who just does it all. Like, George Kittle is a super good blocker, really good receiver. Travis Kelce is probably one of the best top 2, if at worst, top 3 tight ends of all time. You also have people like Kyle Pitts, the super athletic freak who just hasn't really had his chance to shine yet. You have Sam Laporta, who just went off last year. Mark Andrews is really like the second best tight end of the league, and I don't think it's close. I think the amount of like security that he provides for somebody like Lamar Jackson is the reason that Lamar has been so like good a lot of these years. And obviously Lamar is great in his own right. Again, he's my favorite player in the NFL. But Mark Andrews is just a really talented tight end who I feel like deserves just a little bit more shine. And I've drafted him in fantasy like 3 times now. I just love him. For the offensive line, let's grab Andrew Thomas here. Obviously, I have to grab my left tackle. I love him. His development has been great to watch. When we drafted him out of Georgia, I was definitely a little bit nervous because Tristan Wirfs was my guy in that draft class, and we were in position to take him. And I was kind of mad when I saw that Andrew Thomas, who was my 4th best offensive lineman in that class, because I saw him just as a pure pass protector, which is what he's been in the NFL. Great, probably one of the best pass protectors in the NFL. Still solid in the run game. He developed in that way too, and he was really good at that, and he still is, obviously. Injuries have definitely hurt him a little bit, but this entire Giants team just sucks, so he has a lot of weight on his shoulders. But he's a really, really talented guy. Happy that we drafted him in the end, and yeah, he's been really good. Quentin Nelson is probably going to be my favorite left guard in the NFL. I think that, I don't know, I just really liked him ever since he got drafted. I've never really seen a guard get drafted as high as him. and he's been one of the best, probably the best left guard in the league since he got drafted. Arguably the best guard in the league, depending on if you still take him over Zach Martin or not. Zach Martin has just been amazing, just quietly for so many years. But yeah, Quentin Nelson, really, really good player. For centers, I was between Creed Humphrey on the Chiefs and Tyler Linderbaum, who I ended up going with from the Ravens. He's only been in the league for a year, and I think he's already developed into one of the best centers in the league. I really liked when the Ravens drafted him. I was just praying for them to grab somebody to protect Lamar, and they did that. And Linderbaum has just been really, really good. I don't really think it's anything special about him. I don't know. I just really liked him a lot. Creed Humphrey as well, probably the best center in the NFL right now, but I felt like let's go with Linderbaum and give him a little bit more shine. At right guard, I grabbed division rival Sam Cosmi out of Texas. So he's on Washington right now, and the only reason I let him be on this team is because I'm not worried about Washington. They suck. So Sam Cosmi, I feel like, has gotten a lot of, I don't want to say hate over the years, but he's stuck in a bad Washington offensive line as a really good guard, but I really think that he is still a positive tackle, and I hope that he can still play out there so that he can get his money that he probably deserves. But right now, he's probably one of the best guards in the NFL. Yeah, I just think he deserves a lot more praise for trying to keep whatever quarterback is back there upright, and I'm looking to see him have another big year this year. And at right tackle, this is probably going to be a surprise to a lot of people, but DeJuan Jones out of Ohio State, listen, I love him because he's just a mountain. 6'8", 375 pounds of just pure man, bro. Like, I've never seen this giant of a tackle who's as athletic as he is. Like, he moves so well for his size, and he's a really good player too. He filled in for the Browns last year and was honestly a starting caliber tackle as a rookie. So DeJuan Jones is somebody I'm really excited to see start hopefully next year and develop over the course of a bunch of years, because I think he's going to be a really talented player, and he's just huge. He's going to be so fun to watch. Now, moving over to the defensive side of the ball, obviously I had to grab Dexter Lawrence, probably the best interior defensive lineman not named Chris Jones in the league, and honestly, I'm not mad at anybody who takes him over Chris Jones. I'm not going to say that I would, but if somebody else wants to say it, I can agree. But Dexter Lawrence is incredible. One of the best run stoppers in the league. Obviously, honestly, one of the better pass rushers at interior in the league as well. He's just good at literally everything. I love watching him. I've loved having him these past couple of years. The only bright spot of that 2019 draft class, because we don't talk about the other two picks that we made. Oh my gosh. So Dexter Lawrence provides me some happiness when I can think about the year 2019. So he's great. Another big surprise here on the defensive line is Jalen Carter from the Eagles. Again, division rival. You'd be so surprised as to why I even allowed him on this team. But Jalen Carter, man, watching him at Georgia was just such a pleasure. And I'm just going to choose to forget anything having to do with the Eagles. This is strictly Georgia Jalen Carter I'm talking about. Probably one of the most dominant D linemen I've seen in college. Just like, he had to be double teamed, and on that Georgia defensive line, like, there were so many names that are just very, very talented, and he just stood out against all of them. So Jalen Carter is just one of my favorite guys to watch. I hope that he ends up developing for a different team. You know, maybe he gets traded or leaves in free agency. I don't want to see him in Philadelphia. I want him to either come to the Giants or just be anywhere else besides there or Dallas. Going over to the edge position, Chase Young is, I don't know if I want to say he's currently one of my favorite edge rushers in the league, but in terms of like guys that I was super hyped up for and I'm a little bit disappointed with, I think Madden definitely overrates him a little bit. I don't think he's superstar dev anymore. I don't even think he deserves that 85 overall. I think maybe an 82 is probably more accurate for him, 82 star dev. I think he's a solid pass rusher right now who just hasn't put it all together, whether it's because of injuries or, you know, he had a lot of different issues when he was in Washington where coaches would say that he was kind of not listening to plays, kind of doing his own thing, just kind of being a little bit reckless. And I hope that this year in New Orleans can maybe change something for him. Hopefully he can earn a contract. Hopefully he can have a big year there. But Chase Young is somebody who I just really, really want to get it all together because at Ohio State, he was a menace. One of the best edge rushers I've seen coming out of Ohio State, which says a lot because they've had a lot of good players. Nick Bosa, Joey Bosa. I like Chase Young more than both of them. And I know it sounds crazy. I like Chase Young more than both of them. And on the other side, I think we're going to go with a name that not a lot of people know about, but he's really, really good. And that's Greg Rousseau out of Miami. When Russo came into the league, okay, let's start with this. When Russo was, like, the year that he was going to get drafted, that start of the year, everybody had him as a top 5 pick. However, as the year went on, more people realized he was kind of this super athletic guy who didn't really have a great pass rush, like, plan. Very, very raw, just super athletic, and needed to put it all together. And since getting to the NFL, he's done just that. Not an elite pass rusher just yet. I'd say he's kind of in the same tier as Chase Young right now, but I think his upside is so high that he will be one of the best pass rushers in the NFL when it's all said and done. Going over to the linebacker spots now, Bobby Okereke is going to start us off. Obviously, giant, but one of the only bright spots on the team last year, and he really won me over as a fan when I was very unsure about the signing when we actually did it. I thought that, was it David Long? No, not David Long. That's what I'm thinking of. There was another linebacker in free agency who I thought should have gone for more money, and I'm glad we didn't pick him up because Bobby Okereke was amazing last year. One of the best linebackers in the NFL. Tackle machine. He always knows where the ball is. One of the best run defenders in the league. Like, I just love everything about Bobby Okereke. He's really earned that contract, and honestly more. So, I'm really happy to have him on the team, and can't wait to see him in future years with the Giants. At outside linebacker here, we're going to have Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah from the Cleveland Browns. One of the best guys just in pass coverage in the league. The cool thing with him coming out was, like, is he going to be a linebacker? Is he going to be a safety maybe? Because looking at his size, like, he is only 6'2", 221, playing linebacker. Yet he's so good at tackling. He is honestly just a really good coverage player, like I said before. And coming out of college, just a super versatile guy who fell in the draft for, I forgot what the reasons were, but, like, I thought he should have never fallen in the draft, and it's shown. I mean, he's been one of the best linebackers in the league over the last 2 years of his career. Maybe 3, I think this is year 3 for him now. But he's just been really, really good, really fun to watch, and yeah, one of my favorite players in the league. And the last linebacker is a slight disappointment who I'm hoping can have a better year, but Isaiah Simmons, man, I was so in love with him coming out of Clemson. I thought that he was going, I've said this so many times, I thought he was going to be Micah Parsons before Micah Parsons, right? He was the same type of blueprint, the super athletic linebacker who was pretty, like, good at rushing the passer, just, like, he didn't really have a defined role. I think the problem that ended up being with him, like, the problem he had was that when he got drafted to the Cardinals, they had no idea what the hell to do with him. I was so happy when the Giants traded for him. I was expecting him to take a big step up in a new environment. He didn't really get the chance to play, with Micah McFadden being one of the best graded linebackers in the league, and obviously Bobby Okereke as well. But I'm hoping that this year, under a new defensive system, where if you watch episode 1 of Giants Hard Knocks, it seems like they want him to definitely play a role in the defense this year. I'm hoping that maybe we can see some of what he was at Clemson come back. At cornerback, we're going to go with probably everybody's favorite cornerback in the league, Sauce Gardner. But I've said multiple times why he is my favorite. And yes, I'm going to let him wear 26 because we hate Saquon, right? Sauce Gardner was the first player that I was so right about compared to everybody else ever, right? Again, I wish I was making draft videos around this time, but Sauce Gardner in a draft class with Derek Stingley Jr., who everybody lived off of that freshman year that he had, I had Sauce Gardner as my number 1 corner, and I love Derek Stingley, right? He was my close second. I had a really tough time differentiating the two. I ended up going with Sauce just simply because of that, like, height and length, and just how aggressive he was at Cincinnati. He's just great at everything, and again, just love watching him in the NFL. Jalen Johnson is the next cornerback on this team. Now, Jalen Johnson is a special one for me as well. Another cornerback where I was really right about him coming out of Utah. I forgot when he got drafted. He was a later round pick, for sure. But, again, just somebody that I was just right about. A lot of people saw him as, like, this kind of wasn't a good enough athlete to play on the boundary, or he didn't have the man coverage skills, so he was kind of going to get locked into, like, the Richard Sherman role of, like, you kind of have to play zone coverage with him. He's absolutely, like, shattered that expectation, and he's been solid in man coverage, but probably the best zone coverage corner in the league. And the Bears have really, not something you can say about the Bears often, but the Bears have done an amazing job at developing him, and he's one of the best outside corners in the league. And there were a lot of options for who I could have gone with for our third corner spot, but I ended up just leaving Tay Banks on the team. Why? I think Tay Banks is going to be in a position this year where he's going to be expected to take a big step up. He had a solid rookie year, especially towards the second half of the year, but expecting him to be a cornerback one at this, like, his age is going to be a lot, and if he steps up, I'm going to have absolutely nothing but respect for him, and he will just be my favorite cornerback in the league, just simply because of the fact that he's on my team and that he would play so well. So this is more of like a hypothetical pick, where if Tay Banks lives up to what he is supposed to be, I think he's going to be one of my favorite guys. And finishing out this team with the safety positions, so Javon Holland is going to be our free safety, another guy who I just love being right. He was one of my favorite players coming out of Oregon in that class. There's not really too much I can say about him. He's just been really, really solid. I don't have a lot of favorite safeties in the league, to be honest. Kind of crazy, but a lot of the guys that I would say are just like the best guys, like Jesse Bates, Buda Baker. But I want to get a little bit unique, and I thought about guys who I really like coming out of the draft. Again, that's kind of been a theme throughout this. But Javon Holland is one of those guys, and he's just been incredible since coming to Miami. One of the best over-the-top safeties in the league, just really plays that role well for them. He can also stick in man coverage too, as you can see with that 84 rating. But yeah, I really like him a lot. And last but certainly not least is Grant Delpit, who is my favorite safety in the league. He is a guy who at LSU was one of the best safeties I had seen. Injuries kind of hurt him for sure, but I don't know what it was about him. He just reminded me of, like, I don't even know. He was just something that I really didn't feel like I'd seen before. Like, he kind of reminded me like Kyle Hamilton, but he's not as athletic. Kyle Hamilton was another guy that I definitely thought about putting up here, but at this point he's too good. So I left Kyle Hamilton out of this video, although Kyle Hamilton is probably my favorite safety. But Grant Delpit's number 2. But I want to say true to positions, and I can only choose one strong safety. I was going to switch positions and put guys where I wanted them. No, I wanted to go by position. So Grant Delpit is somebody who I think is really underrated currently in the NFL, and he's really done a great job developing for the Browns. It's just this kind of like, I want to say he can really do a lot of different things. He could be an over-the-top safety. He could be a box safety. That's probably his best role, is being a box safety. Really good in run support, solid enough in zone. Not the craziest athlete now, but I just really like watching Grant Delpit. So that's going to round out the team. So let's go over this whole thing as a whole, and I'll show you guys what specialists look like and everything. So this is the full team set up. Looks really, really good. This is basically what we're going to look like. Puka Nacua is going to be our 4th wide receiver, just because he's kind of the last guy on this list. I know I went over the other 3 before Odell, but Odell is our wide receiver 1. Yeah, this is what the team looks like. Specialists, we'll go over after the defense. This is what the defense looks like. Then specialists, Amon-Ra St. Brown obviously is going to be in the slot. Jonathan Taylor at 3rd down running back. Power back is obviously Jonathan Taylor. Deontay Banks is going to be slot cornerback for us. Greg Rousseau at left end, and Chase Young at right end. Dexter Lawrence and Javon. Jalen Carter, jeez, up the middle. And then Bobby Okereke is our sub linebacker. I can't wait to see what this team does, honestly. I think we're going to be sick. Maybe we go 16-0. I have the best playbooks in the game just to make us even better. But yeah, let's see how my team does. So, week 1, we have the Dallas Cowboys, a division rival. Let's see if we can absolutely stomp them. Come on. We lose our first game? What happened? Guys, we can't be losing those. What happened? Come on. Is it just Dallas being Dallas? Okay, it was just Dallas being Dallas. Anthony Richardson was great. Jonathan Taylor is great. Zeke is apparently prime Ezekiel Elliott again. Odell was amazing. 9 for 137 and a touchdown. Oh, I can't wait. Oh, this is going to be so fun. Mark Andrews had 2 touchdowns. Amon-Ra St. Brown had 1. We just barely got outplayed. But you know what? It's okay. I thought we could go 17-0 with this team. I guess not. Week 2, we were able to pick up a win against the Cardinals, and Anthony Richardson won Player of the Week. Week 4, we picked up another win against the Seahawks, and we also got Anthony Richardson again for Player of the Week. We are now 2-2. I don't know why we're so bad. In Week 5, we absolutely destroyed the Dolphins. I think it was 45-17, and Chase Young had 3 sacks and Defensive Player of the Week. And after that massive week, Chase Young did end up getting a breakout scenario. Let's see if we can get X Factor. So we lose the game against the Bills, and Chase Young does not get his breakout. We're 3-3. What is happening? This is like kind of a problem. Why are we 3rd in the division right now? Anthony Richardson's playing amazing. And we absolutely destroy the Washington Commanders, and Anthony Richardson and Jalen Johnson both get players of the week. Anthony Richardson looks crazy. Week 8, we lose again to the Jets. We are 4-4. Why are we so mid? I don't understand this. Let's keep simming. I'm going to let you guys stay with me for this. Maybe you guys are good luck. And we destroy the Raiders in week 9, 42-14. We have a breakout scenario now for Anthony Richardson. Let's see if he can maybe get something up to X Factor. Maybe that will help us. Maybe he needs to score 7 touchdowns a game. I don't know what it is, but we need something, clearly. And we lose again. I'm not even going to look at the breakout scenario because obviously Anthony Richardson didn't get it, but we're 5-5. We might miss the playoffs with this team. That shouldn't even be possible. How? Do I need to call for backup? Like, what is happening? It has to be the defense, right? No, we have one of the worst rushing offenses in the league, and our defense is terrible. Okay, so we're going to change playbooks, since that's just all Madden needs, apparently, is just playbooks. That's kind of upsetting, though, because this defense is insane. Like, there's nobody under an 80 overall on this defense. What more do we need? Okay, wait, Tay Banks is a 77, but y'all get the point. I guess we can try Minnesota playbook, because they usually play pretty well as well. They're not Minnesota. What's the other 4-3, There's another 4-3 quarters team. It's not Minnesota. Is it Seattle? Wait, what's the other 4-3 quarters team? I actually kind of forgot. There's definitely another 4-3 team that plays really, really well in Sim. Oh, it's Cleveland. They usually play pretty well. So we're gonna go with that. See if maybe this defense can get saved, because oh my gosh. Alright, so we pick up a 27-17 win against the Commanders. We are now 6-5. Absolutely destroyed the 1-9 Patriots. We are now 7-5, second in the division, so we should be okay for the playoffs now. Jonathan Taylor was great for us, and he won Player of the Week. 4 rushing touchdowns. Damn. I was wondering what made that stat line so impressive. I'm like, he had a lot of receptions, but the rushing didn't look great, but then he had 4 touchdowns apparently, so that's what it is. How are we losing so badly to the Packers? Guys, please. Alright, week 15, we were able to pick up a win against the Saints. We are now 8-6, competing with the Eagles to try and make it to the wild card spot. This is a big game. Let's see if we can win this. Come on. It's the Eagles. Please. And we lose. I swear to God. Oh my God. How are we missing the playoffs for my favorite player? Is that trash? Do we need Lamar? Do I need to insert Lamar into this team, bro? Is Anthony... No, Anthony Richardson's not the problem. Yeah, Anthony Richardson is clearly not the problem. Look at those stats. Yeah, I don't know what the problem is. We have a breakout scenario for Jonathan Taylor, which I don't really care about. Can we please make the playoffs? We win against the Rams. We're now 9-7. Eagles are 11-5. We can maybe get a wild card spot, and we do. We go 10-7. We make the wild card round. Let's take a look at these stats, because I need to know. Anthony Richardson was incredible. 4,800 yards, almost 5K yards, 45 touchdowns. 16 picks is high, but, like, when the yards and touchdowns are this high, it doesn't, like, anything under, like, 18 is acceptable. Rushing, Jonathan Taylor was incredible. 1,300 yards, 11 touchdowns. These two are great together. Receiving, Amon-Ra St. Brown had a crazy year. 1,300 yards, 18 touchdowns out the slot. 1,211 for Mark Andrews. 1,107 for Odell. 701 for Malik Neighbors. Jonathan Taylor had some good receiving stats I saw. The O-line was kind of eh. Why was Tyler Linderbaum so bad? That's kind of weird. Defensively, Bobby Okereke, 111 tackles. TFLs, 15 for Chase Young led the team. 15 for Jalen Carter, 14 for Sexy Dexy. 12 sacks for Rousseau, 11 for Young, 7 for Jalen Carter, 7 for Dexter Lawrence. These are good sack numbers. Picks, 5 for Sauce Gardner, 4 for Jalen Johnson, 2 for JOK, 2 for Grant Delpit, 1 for Isaiah Simmons, 1 for Bobby Okereke, and 1 for Tay Banks. Where was the issue on this team? Yearly awards. Lamar Jackson did win MVP. Anthony Richardson up there at number 4. NFC Offensive Player of the Year, Amon-Ra St. Brown at 3. Jonathan Taylor at 8. Anthony Richardson at 9. Defensive Player of the Year, Chase Young up there at 5. Greg Rousseau up there at 8. Rookie of the Year, Anthony Richardson. Defensive Rookie of the Year, Jalen Carter's at 3. Best QB, Anthony Richardson at 2. Best running back, Jonathan Taylor at 4. Best receiver, Amon-Ra St. Brown at 1. Nobody else. O-line, our O-line wasn't great, so maybe that was the issue. Chase Young at 3 for D-line, Rousseau at 5. Linebackers, nobody. DBs, Sauce Gardner at 1, Jalen Johnson at 2. How was this team this bad? Like, I know we made the playoffs and won 10 games, but this should have been a 14-win minimum team. Now, I guess our division is really hard, so that's automatically, like, 2 losses probably guaranteed to either the Cowboys or Eagles, and then maybe more if we just suck, which we did. I mean, our defense played really well. Middle of the pack in passing, but, like, one of the best run defenses. Our passing offense was the best in the league. We still ended up with a top 3 offense. I really don't understand how we lost 7 games. But you know what? Let's see if we can beat the Packers here. I really don't have to jump in. And we won. Alright. Divisional round here against the Bucks. They're so mid. Can we please just beat the Buccaneers? Please. And we won barely. Conference championship against the 49ers. We're going to hop in here and see if our team can do it. Alright. Oh, I forgot to go over kicker and punter. Kicker, I actually did those as well. Kicker and punter were Justin Tucker and Johnny Hecker. Justin Tucker because he's just one of the greatest kickers of all time. And Johnny Hecker because I live off of the fact that he had like one trick play like 6 years ago, which is kind of cool. But let's go to the next quarter. And let's see if we can actually do something. Defense held up. We score 7 immediately. San Francisco responds with a field goal. It's now 7-3 in the second quarter. They make it 10-7. Our offense responds, making it 14-10. San Francisco responds again, 17-14, but we respond again, 21-17. It's a lot of talking. And we do score a touchdown before the half, make it 28-17. 49ers with the ball. They make it 25-28. We make it 35-25, and it looks like we are taking a pretty big lead in this game. They make it 35-28, but let's see if we can close it out here, and I think we do. 42-28 will... No, 42-35 is your final score. Pretty big shootout. Not a defensive game whatsoever. Anthony Richardson was incredible. 300 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. Rushing, Jonathan Taylor got it done. And Theo Johnson, our tight end, I guess our fullback as well, had a touchdown. Odell, 8 catches, 113. Mark Andrews, 2 touchdowns. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 2 touchdowns. And defense, did you guys do anything? Sack for Dexter Lawrence and Jalen Carter. 2 TFLs for Jalen Carter. The team was pretty solid. Let's go to the Super Bowl. And even though we had somewhat of a rough regular season, we pull it out, make the playoff run that was needed. We turn into the Chiefs. Just a kind of mid-regular season team, but you can't count them out in the playoffs. We make it to the Super Bowl against our rival, the New York Jets. We play on the same field, so nobody has home field advantage, basically. I mean, it's not going to be played in New Jersey, but sure. But let's take a look at dev traits before the season ends. Let's see who sucks. Let's see who's great. So, Anthony Richardson's up to superstar. Amon-Ra St. Brown's up to superstar X Factor. These guys both didn't have dev traits. Yeah, offense stayed pretty much the same. Puka Nacua kept his dev trait even though he didn't play. It's pretty cool. Defensively, JOK is up to superstar, and I think that's the only change. I think Jalen Carter is drafted with superstar. I think he just has that. Right? Yeah, I think Jalen Carter just has that. So, no real changes, but still pretty cool. Let's hop into the Super Bowl against the Jets. Alright, so let's hop into this game here. I'm going to have to hop in at some point because you know I have to throw the ball to Odell at least once. We score 7 on our first drive. Defense pretty much holds it down, only allowing a field goal. We make it 14-3, 21-3 instantly in the second quarter. Defense is really holding it down. It is now 28-3, and I think we've kind of locked this game down. Although 28-3 is a bad score if you're a Falcons fan. It's now 28-14. Okay, we're kind of selling. Okay, we're really selling. Let's hop in here on offense and see if we can close out this game. 4th and 2, we're going to go for this. We have Odell on our side, best slant machine in the NFL. Let's see if I can get him on a slant. Where is he? Oh yeah, there he is. See if we can get Odell on a slant here. Get this first down. He's not open. Oh, nobody's open. Oh boy. Okay, we got sacked. That was bad. That was bad. Javon Kinlaw. Yep, that's real. Okay, Corley. Oh, they're coming back. It's 28-21. Now we actually have to lock in. Let's start off with a screen here to Jonathan Taylor. I hate that Anthony Richardson's wearing number 8. I hate that number on any quarterback on the Giants, specifically Daniel Jones. Good blocks from the offensive line. Can you get a block, Odell? And he does. Jonathan Taylor with a huge play there after some great blocking. Anthony Richardson's had a great game. Only one interception, but completion percentage is amazing. Okay, do we take this deep shot to Odell? If I can just put you on blocking, and honestly, we're just gonna have all these guys block. It's an all-out blitz. Odell. Oh, and it's picked off. It's underthrown. Oh no. Oh, we might have sold the game. We're still up, so I can kind of take these risks now. That should have been a touchdown, man. And the defense holds it down. We're okay. You guys don't have to yell at me in the comments. It's okay. Everything's fine. All right. We need to get Odell in a slant. That's what he does. That's what he was so great at it in New York. I need to see it again from a better quarterback, not named the corpse of Eli Manning. Oh, he's so open. Oh, but he got bumped. Are you kidding me? I hate Madden so much. Why is it that every receiver I try and throw to gets bumped off the route every single time? Like, without fail. Every single time. We're doing it again. I don't care. Odell has to get a slant. That's just what he does. They don't even have Sauce Gardner. We have Sauce Gardner. Odell, come on. Oh my God. Anthony Richardson, please. Please. Okay. Maybe it's not a slant, though. Maybe we get him a inside dig or whatever this is called. I feel like Mark Andrews should really just block. I'm kind of scared. Odell's so open. Odell. I hate this game. Oh my God. I hate this game so much. I hate this game so much. Michael Carter should not be locking up Odell Beckham Jr. Can we talk about this? All right, it's now a tie game, and we are risking going to overtime now. We've somehow managed to blow a 28-3 lead. Falcons fans are probably laughing at me. Odell, come on. Odell with a tough catch. Let's go. We still have timeouts too, so we can definitely just try and win this game. Odell with a huge catch there, though. 6 for 73 on the day. Let's see if we can get him another one. Throwing this up. Odell. Oh, double covered. Alright, come on. That's so stupid, though. That makes me so mad that we actually just almost blew this lead. Shouldn't say almost. We're still in the game. Ooh, we gotta get Malik Neighbors a catch, too. Puka Nakua's in the game. Oh, yeah, Odell's probably tired. Malik Neighbors. Oh, my God. Anthony Richardson, stop being like Daniel Jones, please. I ruined his stat line, too. I completely ruined his stat line. It looked so good until I came in. 3rd and 10 here. Amon-Ra's in the game. Puka Nakua being on the outside kind of scares me, just a little bit. Mark Andrews is definitely open there. Catch that, Mark. Let's go. Big catch, Mark. Number 40. That's like a 1980s tight end number. Who was the tight end that wore number 40? It would really have to be like some old school tight end that wore number 40. I don't know a single tight end now that wears that. Alright, Amon-Ra could get open here. This route usually goes to him. Oh, Odell's so open, though. Odell, first catch of the video. Let's go, Odell. We got to get him a touchdown. Come on. Can we hurry up? Let's get him a touchdown. Come on, Odell. This is all you. It's all you, Odell. Odell Beckham, touchdown! Winning the Super Bowl! Odell Beckham! He's back on the Giants. Let's go! Oh, my gosh. What a way to end it. With the Odell touchdown on a slant. That's like poetry. It's so beautiful. So that proves it. A team of my favorite players can win a Super Bowl. Let's go. Oh, it's so great to see. I don't think I'll ever see a Giant Super Bowl in my lifetime. So you know what? This is the next best thing. Oh, it's so great. Look at Anthony Richardson. Let's go. Alright, well that is going to be it for me, y'all. Thank you guys for watching. This is a new kind of video. I don't know if this is going to be a series. Like I said, I think I'm going to make one when I draft my fantasy team, and we're going to do that. So whenever I draft my fantasy team, we'll do a video saying if they can win a Super Bowl or not. But yeah, pretty cool idea. I hope you guys like it. But remember to leave a like and sub if y'all mess with the content, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.